So this came from Jess in South Burlington, Vermont. And Jess is with a ski shop in Vermont, been working together for a while now. And she says, hey, Dan, as you know, I've been struggling to hire staff in soft goods for the past 3 months, specifically a manager. Aside from a low level of applicants, there's been this shift in people wanting to work in retail, especially since the pandemic began. So when I get people who are enthusiastic about working in the shop and qualified, I lose them when I can only offer minimum wage for pay or her minimum wage. It's different in every state and every province, but it is truly, it's where we land them, right? And so she ends this question with, they can work at Dunkin' Donuts for $14 an hour, right? I would love your feedback and could use any and all insight into how to navigate this challenge. Best, Jess. And so I right away answered Jess and said, Jess, this is such a good question. And it's one that many, many retailers are battling with right now. And Rob, at some point, okay, I'm gonna say this as gently as I can. At some point, we've gotta yank our head out of our ass and recognize we get what we pay for. If our belief is that our people, our most valuable asset, are only worth minimum wage, we're going to get what we pay for. We're going to get minimum output, minimum performance. I mean, that's minimum wage, minimum skill, minimum availability, minimum output, minimum performance. And so we've got to realign our thinking when it comes to our people. You know, we spend so much money on our buildings, on our marketing, on our inventory. And then we spend the least on the people that sell our product, that service our product, that look after our customers. And I learned this a long time ago. You know, in the furniture world where I grew up, the sales staff were always commissioned salespeople. They were always in some kind of pay for performance environment. And the delivery staff, right, the guy that can do the most amount of damage was paid the least. So we had these, you know, $60, $80, $100, $150,000 earners out there selling, and then we paid delivery drivers $12 an hour to deliver $50,000 and $60,000 worth of furniture. There's something seemed broken in that relationship, right? The guy that has the ability to do the most damage to my store, my reputation, my revenue, gets paid the least. This is backwards thinking. And so I said to Jess, you know, Jess, my suggestion is to create a remuneration plan that is foundationally based on performance. And I am the biggest believer in offering the greater of this hourly rate or percentage commission, right? And others like to use an hourly rate plus commission. But my challenge with that is that it leads to overpaying staff. And in this example, we need to have a threshold for minimum sales to pay commission. Either way we look at remuneration, we want to do our best to keep their wages in this 10. So I'm gonna throw a number out here. Your selling payroll, let's talk about retailers. Your selling payroll should be between 10 and 12% of your revenue. Now, it's not hard to do this math. If my revenue's 100 grand, I should be paying my staff 10 to 12%, not inclusive of benefits and, you know, healthcare and 401 and RSP and all that other bullshit that goes with, you know, employing people, but just that salesperson. What are we paying them? It should land 10 to 12%.
Is that just them, Dan? I'll just ask I'm the owner operator.
Yeah.
Do I count myself as a staffer?
If you're selling
within that 10 to 12%?
We really want to break payroll up into three kind of chunks.
Okay.
Right. We have our administrative wage, which covers off people that are your non-selling members.
Gotcha.
Right. And they make up the non-selling members of your team, you know, support staff, administrative staff. Together, they're going to make up 3 to 5% of your revenue. Your selling staff are going to make up 10 to 12% of your revenue. And then there's the all important, what do the owners and managers get, right? And that may make up another 3 to 5, depending on how profitable you are. Remember, owners tend to get paid last, right? We get paid from the leftover. So we've really got to do a good job on all of the above expenses to be able to get paid, right? So let's just talk about what could we do? What could we create for our selling team that is successful? And looking at combining hourly and the incentivized wage is probably a good place to start. And you can go back and look at if you should be, if you are tracking sales per salesperson. If you know what Dan sold in the last month, you know what you paid me in the last month, what does it equate to? Right? We can use some data, right? Some artificial intelligence even, to predict what I'm going to pay that salesperson for the next 12 months. And is it in line with the 10 or 12%? And if somebody's working, 40 hours a week and they're making 11 something an hour, they probably, in order to be at break even for you and them, they need to sell about $4,000 a month, right? And if they sold 5, you'd get a 10% bump and pay them 10% commission. You'd make an extra $1,000 in revenue, and it would cost you $100. Are they going to be happier now that they're making not $11.75, but they're making $15 an hour? And see, we hire these people on hourly rates. And, you get someone that's excited and enthusiastic about joining your team, and then you pop them with the bubble by saying, I can only pay you minimum wage. I would rather say, listen, our wage is $11.50 an hour or 10% commission, whichever is greater. So really your earning potential, the sky is the limit. And I went on to say to Jess, I know that commission is this slippery slope for many stores that don't want to see team members competing on the floor, but rather collaborating with each other to assist customers. And in order for a commission model to be successful, it takes a strong leader holding team members accountable to the store's core values. And this is super important to pay people beyond what they can earn, working in a coffee shop. And I'm going to say this again, you get what you pay for. If you're going to pay minimum wage, you can expect minimum output. But if you turn the table and say, I'm going to pay you this or 10% commission, whichever's greater, right? I'm not going to pay you less than what what minimum is, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to earn a lot more based on your performance. Do you think people might have a different outlook?
Do you see that working with, and you touched on it, that selling or sales team rather, environment where can commission be for the team as a whole, broken up per hour or a mix thereof?
So we certainly see clients that use commission pools or bonus pools, where we're paying people an override. And it is really, when we try to tiptoe in the water of pay for performance. And Ron Wannock, the owner of Ashley Furniture Industries, was someone that shared this with me long time ago. You get what you pay for. And people that live in a pay for performance world often perform better than those that get a higher hourly rate, right? And it can be applied anywhere. And we tried this back in the day with administrative staff. We put every single department in our business on some kind of pay for performance. For the admin staff in the office, we gave them the budget of expense. This is what our expenses have been for the last 12 months. Every dollar you save, I'm going to give you back 50 cents.
You think part of that challenge with retailers is everything you're describing requires a level of transparency with your team into, you probably ask a bunch of them, what were the sales today? I don't know. Right? So you gotta be quite open about those volumes and to make it all really work.
Rob, how do you know when you win a game?
I hear that buzzer and the
and the what?
And we have more goals than the other.
You look at the scoreboard.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Totally.
It's your measurement of whether you won or lost the game.
Yeah.
This bullshit about, well, did you give it your best effort? Then that's okay. No, it's not okay. We're here to win, not here to lose. Yeah. Right? And what does losing mean? I want you to compete with yourself. right? Why do we keep score in golf, right? It's not really to beat our opponent, although that's fun, to have those games. We compete with ourselves. Yesterday, I shot a 5. Today, I shot a 4. I'm better today. That's performance. That's measured. And so the answer to your question is yes, we have to be a bit transparent. And why wouldn't we be transparent? Why would we hide our goals from the people that score them? Seems broken, totally. Right? Why are retailers struggling with this? Why are retailers not sharing sales with their selling team members? Why is it a secret? No. Right? Are they afraid? Are they afraid an employee is going to say, oh my God, we sold too much today. You're going to now drive a better car. Well, bullshit. That's not really how it works.
Well, and I'm sure too, you'll see over time when you do have that disconnect for those types of conversations, you'll quickly realize that you've got the wrong person in the wrong seat. And
100% yes.
They're not where, you
right. And this is why I said to Jess, the LMA, lead, right? You got to lead people. You got to hold them accountable. Lead people, manage the process, and hold everyone accountable to the values. If you know what your values are, if you've got them defined, every time somebody's not exhibiting that value, you have this point of conversation, a point of correction. And if we share the same values, umbrella of values, they're here for the right reason. We've talked about 3 kinds of staff before, right? We talked about the patriots. We talked about the people that are here for the money, right? We talked about people that are bored. You got to have people that are here for the money and people that are patriots. If you've got people that are bored in your store, kick their ass out the store right now. Doesn't matter if they got the same last name as you or not. You need patriots and people that are looking to be famous, rich and famous. Go sell
donuts. Go sell donuts.
Go to Dunkin' Donuts. They're paying $14 an hour.
Right on. Well, great question from Jess, and big thanks for that. Dan, how do folks get a hold of you for other questions?
Yeah, listen, any question, nothing's off limits. Just send an email to dan@thewealthyretailer.com, and I'll answer the question personally, and I'll get your permission to maybe share it on the podcast. We get a ton of questions that could all be on the podcast, and every once in a while, one comes like Jess. Sent me this email yesterday, and and I'm like, oh my God, can I share this on the podcast? I've come up against this exact question so many times, especially right now. And we talked about this a little while ago, Rob. People have migrated away from retail. People have migrated away from the downtown core, right? If your store's in a downtown core and you don't have the people are moving away, you're going to be challenged. And maybe you've got to pay people differently and give them an opportunity to earn more as the store grows, right? As I go, you go. As we go, right? Yeah. It's not go as I say, it's go as I go. Let's grow the business together and we both feel rewarded. So send an email to dan@thewealthyretailer.com and I promise you will get a very quick response. And if I don't know the answer, I know where to get it.
Awesome.